What's being proposed now would undermine the very purpose of the Senate as the one place in our system where minority views and opinions have been respected and heard, and in most cases, incorporated into law. Until now, you could say that protecting the rights of a political minority have always been the defining characteristic of the Senate. The Majority Leader was one of the staunchest defenders of the Senate's protection of minority rights for all of the reasons I've mentioned. Yet now he finds himself frustrated with those rules he once championed.
My friend, the Republican leader, claims changing the rules to make the Senate more efficient is an assault on minority rights. In fact, it's a response to abuse of the filibuster by Senate Republicans. He keeps talking about getting rid of the filibuster. I or no one on the Democratic side has proposed getting rid of the filibuster. But we have proposed making this place more efficient. We had a run at this 2 years ago. We had a so-called gentleman's agreement that the motion to proceed would be filibustered rarely. Well, it was filibustered virtually every time a bill came up, so that simply didn't work. I'm not proposing we get rid of the filibuster, just that we do away with filibusters on motion to proceed, period. To the average American, these reforms are just common sense, Mr. President. Americans believe Congress is broken. Once again, the only ones who disagree are Mitch McConnell and Republicans in Congress. The American people know, Democrats and Republicans, that this place isn't working and there needs to be some changes so that we can proceed to get some legislation passed. We know that during Lyndon Johnson's 6 years, and I will have 6 years in the same position at the end of this year, I have faced 386 filibusters. Keeps going up because we had a couple more very recently. Lyndon Johnson won. Today it takes more than a week. In fact, it takes about 10 days to even begin considering a bill before we're even on the bill, let alone actually trying to pass that legislation. So it's time to get the Senate working again. Not for the good of the current Democratic majority or some future Republican majority, but for the good of the country and for these plaintive cries that we're getting rid of the filibuster simply isn't true. And, Mr. President, the filibuster, I believe in it. I believe that the minority rights. The filibuster is not part of the Constitution. It's something we developed here to help get legislation passed. Now it's being used to stop legislation from passing. So, Mr. President, we're going to continue moving forward to make the Senate more efficient. Does that mean it will be really efficient? No, because we're changing one aspect of the filibuster rule. And what is that? We're going to change that takes us 10 days to simply get on a bill before we can start legislating. The American people know this is the right way to go. The only people that think the Senate is working now with this obstruction at every step of the way are the Republicans. Now, Mr. President, I've said this before. Any change that has been suggested in these rules that we believe need to be changed wouldn't affect, if I were in the minority, it wouldn't affect, I would have many, many opportunities to take care of this sparsely populated state of Nevada and do the other issues that I want to defend. But, Mr. President, we believe that there should be one aspect of the Senate that changed, and that is this motion to proceed should be a non-debatable motion to proceed. Simple as that. And the American people agree. I repeat, only ones who disagree, that think this Senate is working well, are the Republican leader and those Republicans in Congress. We're not trying to get rid of the filibuster. What we're doing, Mr. President, is changing a tiny aspect of what goes on around here so that people would have to do a couple things. One is not filibuster, simply getting on a bill. And also, if they want to filibuster, stand and talk about it, not be in your office someplace. Senator Durbin just reminded me of one senator, Republican senator, who forced us to be here over the weekend, and then he just left, went back to a wedding in his state.